230 days on from being knocked out of last season's tournament by Atletico Madrid, Champions League football is back at Anfield. It is, though, missing a key ingredient. No supporters will be present as the Reds meet a new opponent and a side that is just 21 years old. It is Matchday 2 of Europe's premier club competition. We'll have live audio commentary of Liverpool versus Midtjylland from 8 o'clock. That's after a full hour's build-up on LFC TV. And to get you in the mood for all of that, on our social media platforms, I'm joined by Jason McAteer in the studio and on video link-up, former Red striker Emile Heskey as well. Jason, let's start with where we find ourselves going into tonight's game. Yep. Is it fair to say the Reds are building some momentum now after a shaky start to the season because of a whole host of reasons?
Yeah, I think everyone's struggling for consistency. I think you see that week in, week out in the Premier League. Never mind Champions League. We've had a few adverse results in week 1 of Champions League, but definitely over the course of European football, we've seen lots of goals. We've seen lots of away results. I think they're up by 25%. Home teams are struggling to get results, lots of draws. So everyone's trying to come to terms with what's going on. And then you throw into the mix no fans, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. But I think if you look at any teams, I think Everton, Liverpool and Aston Villa, maybe Leeds, are just starting to find a little bit of consistency, although Everton and Villa were beaten at the weekend. I think they're the teams that are sort of coming to terms a lot better than most. So in the answer to your question, I would say yes.
Yeah, we're saying a shaky start, but the Reds are joint on points with the league leaders in the Premier League and have won their opening game in the Champions League. And we're looking at the position we're in after Matchday 1, a good win at a difficult place in Ajax. It's now quite a clear goal for the players. It's win your home games, you're through to the next round.
I think that was always a main thing, is winning your home games and setting the stall out from when we were playing in the Champions League and in Europe. Your home games are your main place. Again, we had the fans to back us really and to really push us on. They won't have the fans, but there'll still be that same objective.
I don't like to go on about the fans situation because it is what it is now, Emile, but for European nights, how different was it? How special was it for you with that extra lift you got when you stepped out the tunnel?
Yeah, it was massive. It was huge. And the funny thing is, I asked friends, why is it so different? Why do you make it so loud? Why is the passion so ferocious when on the European night? And they still can't say why. But yeah, it is totally different. But again, it's something new. It's something that the players have got to deal with, and they have dealt with it reasonably well.
Yeah, I do think they are very, very special. We know that. We've had some unbelievable nights at Anfield, going back to David Fairclough's, winner. Obviously Barcelona, more recently Borussia Dortmund. They've been fantastic and the crowds have been amazing. Emile will tell you that right through my time and his time, you could feel it was different. But there are some clubs who have a really good relationship with their fans. Liverpool being one of them. Leeds you could throw into the mix. Possibly Manchester United, you might say, have a great relationship. City struggle a little bit, but I think Liverpool feel it more than most. We talk about it most games, don't we? How good would it be if the fans were near, especially for the first game against Leeds? Both teams suffered. And I still think teams are finding it still alien, even though we're 5 or 6 months into playing without fans. I think they're still trying to come to terms with it. Yeah,
it's a strange situation we find ourselves in. Liverpool have got the job done in the first match away against Ajax. Emile, that was a good result, wasn't it? Given everything that was happening around the time, the injury to Van Dijk, obviously we lost Alisson Becker, there was an uncertainty around the place. To get over there, albeit it was with a pretty scrappy goal, to get the job done was a big thing at the time.
And that's the main thing, isn't it? To get the job done. Yes, there was a lot going on at the time, and what a great save that! What a great clearance that is there. But yeah, there's other things that are going on around, and again, it's easy to actually blame a lot of that. But the lads went out there and performed, and yes, it wasn't an easy occasion because going into Holland in Ajax's home ground, and the way they play, they're a very young team, but they're very an effective team and an explosive team, and we dealt with that very, very well. So it was good to see from the lads.
I think they gave Liverpool far too much respect on the night, Ajax. I'd done a lot of research on them, watched them first 4 or 5 games of the season, scored lots of goals. As Emil said, they were a young team, really expansive, greater pressing. And really, the game was really scruffy and scrappy. It was a real test for Liverpool in that sense, but they come through it. It was an own goal, but they probably over the course of 90 minutes deserved it. But yeah, I thought Ajax paid Liverpool a little bit too much respect. I mean, I think the game after they went and scored, was it 13?
Double figures, yeah.
They got double figures, which proves, in front of goal they can be extremely clinical and scoreless. And I felt on the night, I think, although there was some hairy moments for Liverpool because it was a makeshift defence, the back five had never played with each other, it was a good clean sheet for them, but I still think there was an opportunity for Ajax to take a big scalp against Liverpool, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, Ajax last time out. It's Midtjylland tonight that the Reds face. To get more on tonight's game at Anfield, our man there is Peter McDowell.
Thanks, guys, and welcome to Anfield. Really dawns on you on the walk past the new main stand as to what this night might have been like under normal circumstances and how much we all look forward to these great European nights. But we have to concentrate on a football aspect and also with a glass half full, where you look at the last week and the difference that week makes with 2 big wins, and also the fallout from the derby and how damaging that was to have Alisson back in goal at the weekend and see the impact that he made straight away, 7 to 10 days ahead of schedule. Really does put a positive aspect on things. Where tonight is concerned, against the relative unknown, not likely to have Thiago back, neither the case with Joel Matip and also Naby Keita as well. So he did say in Amsterdam that he will be forced into changing the front three from time to time, like he did consecutively on that night. But will he be tempted tonight, perhaps, to start the front three that did come on in Minamino, Jota and also Shaqiri, all back, really pushing their claims to be involved tonight? We'll wait and see on that one. Up against the Danish Superliga champions tonight, they've got an identical points total to Liverpool from the games that they've played so far, and coming from 2 goals down to beat Brøndby at the weekend will really come here with their tails up as well. So an interesting night in prospect, but where positives are concerned, Jurgen Klopp so pleased with the way his team have reacted since that big defeat at Aston Villa.
The last week was not the best week of our lives, let me say it like this. It started with a really good football game with some things which we obviously didn't like and which don't help. And so then it's all about showing reaction, because you cannot influence the things what happen to you in life, but you can influence the response you show. And I like the response, to be honest. It was the boys were really ready to work extremely hard again, show real resilience, fighting for a result, digging in, all these kind of things, which is important. I expect that actually, but after the very, very long, very, very good time we had, it's then possible that people react differently, and my boys didn't. So they did exactly what I thought they will do. They fought as much as they could, and we won both games. So that was the part I liked most.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, of course, is winning those games. He's still without some key players tonight. Thiago won't be involved. Joel Matip doesn't expect to be part of the group, so he still needs to juggle his pack. Is Diogo Jota one, Jason, who might get a start again? He seems to have really settled in quickly.
Listen, there is a time of the season that you're going to have to utilise your squad and rotate. We knew this at the beginning of this season, having hardly any pre-season off the back of last season, that demands were going to be tough when it comes to utilising the squad. This is why you build a squad for times like this. Not so much as times like this because we didn't expect it, but it's here and we have to deal with it. So Jota played in an unfamiliar position on the right-hand side of a 3. A lone striker, Firmino, played. So it was a little bit alien for him. I think Liverpool as a whole struggled to come to grips with it against Sheffield United, the formation. Thought there was good times and there was some tricky times for the way they played, but I do think he will get another opportunity tonight, just because he hasn't played that much football since he's arrived.
I guess the good thing with Jota, Emil, is he's got plenty of experience, but experience in Europe as well. I think he got 9 goals from 8 starts in European games for Wolves last season. He knows how to play at this level.
Yeah, he does, and like you're saying, he brings something different, but doesn't change the style of play that Liverpool want to play. That real on the front foot, and real energy. So it's great that you got someone that can actually just step into the game, and really things don't change.
Midtjylland are expected to be the easiest game in this group, if we want to call it that. They have got the least experience at this level. They're a relatively new team. They were soundly beaten in their opening game by Atalanta. Do you expect, Emil, with that in mind, Jurgen to change his team a little more than he would do for other games? Or do you think he'll be mindful of the fact that they've only played one game in the group, they still need to get points on the board?
I think, like Jay says, you build a squad because you're going to have to rotate at times, and this is what he's going to possibly do. He's going to rotate it because, again, there's other games that are very important. You've got West Ham, you've got Atalanta, you've got Man City, you've got Leicester next after that as well. So there's a hell of a lot of games that have got to come. So you've got to utilise your squad in the right way. So giving people the right minutes, because when you're going into the Christmas period, and it's a long period that we're gonna have with two or three games a week. When you're coming into that Christmas period, you want everyone to be relatively fit and still not and not too many injuries.
So we're seeing players pick up injuries now, because of the lack of rest they've had. You need to utilise that squad. Emil's right. The games are coming thick and fast. There's 3 a week. And it's not going to stop until it gets to Christmas. It's ridiculous. And in amongst that, you've got international games where they're going away, which is ridiculous because the COVID spike went up through footballers, coming back and getting it and, having to isolate. Liverpool have fallen foul of that, or the teams have fallen foul. So, that's something maybe that they need to look at, maybe not having international games because of that at this current moment in time. But as far as the games are going, Liverpool need to utilise the squad as much as anybody.
The good thing is, Jason, we saw last season, Jurgen was very good at knowing when to tweak his squad. You look back to the Merseyside derby, where he blindsided everyone with his team that day and got a great performance. The guys who came in really stood up.
Well, it's having trust in your squad, isn't it, and your players, and knowing that when you change it, they're going to come in and do a job. I think Liverpool are at that point. Minamino had a great pre-season. He'll trust him. It wouldn't surprise me if he comes in. Divock Origi, we know him. He could come in. Curtis Jones might get another opportunity. Listen, the scope tonight, as much as you've got to pay Midtjylland respect, this is a team that beat Manchester United in the Europa League, let's not forget, so they know how to play. They're not a pushover. So you've got to respect them in that case. But Liverpool have got a squad that's full of talent, it's got full of trust as well, and he can make them changes tonight. I think there'll be 4 or 5 changes tonight.
Okay, Jason, thank you for that. We'll see you on the pre-match show. Emil, see you on the post-match show on LFC TV later. Okay, well, Liverpool are 62 Anfield games unbeaten in the Premier League right now. But the European number sits at 0 after defeat to Atletico in March, ended a run of 25 without loss in continental competition. The Reds will be hoping to begin a new sequence against Midtjylland at 8 o'clock tonight. A full hour's build-up is on the way from 7 with Matchday Live on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. Do join us then.